Good morning. Good morning again. Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist, which includes our congregations in Birmingham, in Tuscaloosa, and all of our folks online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. The prelude prepares us for worship.
Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of the chalice. Here today, in this place, and with these people, may we listen so we can hear. May we hear so we can feel. May we feel so we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice light our way. Please be seated now for our sending forth ritual.
Susan and Arthur, will you please come up? And Ramona. saying goodbye is one of the harder parts of being in community, of these relationships and love. But we have learned in this congregation that saying goodbye is important to do regardless, to feel the sadness of it and to say goodbye properly. We say here that our community is made whole by each person who comes here, that until each one of us arrived here, we were not yet whole. If that is true, then what is also true is that with each person who leaves, we are not as whole, we are not the same. We will not be the same without Susan and Arthur and Ramona, but love does not disappear. And there is an invisible thread that is always connecting Arthur and Susan and Ramona to our community. Would you all like to tell us where you're going and why? Give us a good reason. We'll miss you.
Right? Yeah, we're leaving the state. We're moving to Minnesota. Susan's from Minnesota, and she has an opportunity to be a chair of the Department of whatever it is.
Earth, Environment, and Society
We're very sad to leave.
at University of St. Thomas.
Yeah. And yeah, Ramona will be close to her cousin, so she's excited about that.
Yeah,
But it's hard, man.
it is hard. We're going to miss you so much. At this time, I'd like to lay hands on this beautiful family. I'd invite those who are especially close to them to come forward and physically touch them. So, where were they? I saw some folks. Yes. Get up here, AGs and a bunch of other people. Whoever wants to come up and lay hands physically may do so. And the rest of you, I invite you to reach out during this moment. If you all would hold out your hands. Susan, Arthur, and Ramona, let's do it this way. I'm going to bless you with the holy water of our community. It represents our strength and our love and our prayers for you. You can put it on your head or your hands or your feet because we bless your spirit, we bless the life ahead of you, and we bless your journey. And our faith tradition is filled with many symbols, and so we want to send those with you today. In this bag, I have a vial of our water communion water to take with you, with a drop of oil that was used to anoint me at my ordination as my special blessing to you. You also have lots of seed paper to plant where you end up. I don't know how it's going to go in Minnesota. It may be an indoor plant. I also have a marble so that wherever you roll, you know we are with you. And for Ramona specifically, I have the most adorable baby chalice that Courtney found that even has a Lego flame that goes with it. So that is your special chalice, Ramona. Would you like to hold it? Okay. So, congregation, I invite you to write a short note to the family as you leave today. It's on the glass table. There's a little box. And will the congregation please rise in body or spirit and repeat these words of blessing to Susan, Arthur, and Ramona after me. This day we send you forth. But we will not forget you. This day we release you into the universe's keeping. Even as we hold you in gladness and in love. We will always joyfully welcome you back. To this home of your souls. Amen. Please be, no, you don't need to be seated. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please greet those around you, especially those you have not met. And please come give your blessings to this beautiful family. can you announce?
Please rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn, number 360 in the gray hymnal. Number 360.
I'd like to introduce Kylie Kerr to give us a justice moment.
Good morning. I was very fortunately asked to come up and do a Justice Minute in regards to our recently concluded OWL program. Our Whole Lives is commonly known as OWL, is a comprehensive health and sex education platform that we run here at UUCB. I have been fortunate enough to teach every age group now, so K through 1, 3, so we don't have a 3, sorry, 4 through 6, 7 through 9, and 10 through 12. So I have now taught everybody sex ed. You're welcome. One thing that I really want to say to tie back into this is just by a quick show of hands, how many of you are a product of the public school system here in Alabama? We did it. And I feel like I can say that as a public school teacher here in Alabama. I teach middle school. Recently, in the last few years, there has been a lot of discussion, a lot of legislation in regards to teaching health and sex ed in schools. A few years back, they put in a bill, also colloquially known as the Don't Say Gay bill, which actually stopped the teaching of sex ed and a lot of those informations from public school teachers in kindergarten through 5th grade. a lot of schools in Alabama have to pull in outside resources, usually from crisis care centers, counseling centers, childhood therapists, child life specialists, to come into schools and teach children basic things about consent, who should and who should not see their bodies, things like that. This past legislative cycle, a new bill was introduced, and this is what my teachers union website sent. So this is the legislative update I got from my union. It was HB 195 was one of them. This bill would require that any sex ed or human reproductive curriculum or program in a public K-12 school to exclusively teach sexual risk avoidance and encourage the avoidance of any non-marital sexual activity. This bill would further provide for the sex education and human reproductive curriculums or programs in public K-12 schools, including the provision of information about state laws related to the financial cost of pregnancy and childcare, abortion, and adoption. This combined with HB 130, which wanted to provide that classroom instruction or discussion related to gender identity or sexual orientation may not be provided to public school students in kindergarten through 12th grade, so they wanted to extend it from 5th through 12th. Neither of them passed this past legislative session, so we did a great job. And I use the language from that legislative update because it is the most common language used, but 10 years ago when I graduated from high school, the Alabama law stated that it didn't even have to be medically accurate for students to receive health or sex ed in the schools. It had to be age appropriate, but it did not have to be medically accurate. Somebody walk me through that if you get the chance. They dialed that back after I graduated from high school, and yet here we are with attacks on the public school systems and attacks on our libraries trying to prevent children from gaining knowledge. If the only way that children are going to gain knowledge is from the internet, we are going to have some very misinformed children in Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Yeah, thank you. So this is my call to both say, great job, it didn't pass. I know a lot of folks spoke out against it, and our work is not done. My students and those coming up behind them were born after the invention of Instagram. My students were born the same year Instagram was put on the internet. So if that tells you anything, we've got a lot of work we still have to do. So I encourage you to keep telling folks about this great OWL program and to keep up as we enter this next legislative cycle, to know that the conservatives are out there speaking against this, and we've got to match our voice level with theirs. Thank you.
Will the stewardship folks please come forward? So, for those of you who don't know, the way that we fund this church is by making pledges each year as an annual commitment. And we need folks to make phone calls and ask and make sure all of our members are participating in that process. And it is one of the hardest jobs at the church, is it not? Yes, to call people up and say, we'd love for you to commit to support your church. So we just wanted to honor our stewardship folks this morning. I do want to say that these folks up here have raised the most pledges that we have had in years. Naomi Duffert is not here, but she was also on the stewardship committee, and so we just thank all of you for your commitment to ensure that the legacy of this church continues. So we have a little thank you for each of you, and so thank you so much for your service. Please give them another applause.
Good morning. I'm Diane Tucker, a member of the board. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change the world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We're just very glad you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote equity and justice for all. Today's Share the Plate is the Alabama Campaign for Adolescent Sexual Health. The mission for this organization is to champion healthy adolescent development through medically accurate and equitable sexual education and sexual health education and services. We appreciate your donations either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information about using these methods to donate is found in the order of service. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Chase, I don't know how you read my mind, but you got the vibe for this morning. Anyway, thank you for that wonderful selection. Now is that time in our community when we share what is on our hearts, whether joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please share yours in the chat and remember to lift one another up by name. For those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Today we celebrate our graduates and our bridgers, and we lift up Alan Ashman, who is still recovering from quadruple bypass surgery. He may be home now, but he still has a lengthy recovery process. We also lift up Joseph and Wanzetta, who both have COVID. So yes, please lift them up and check in on them. And then we lift up Gil DeCumos for his continued health journey. And we love you, Gil, and we are here for anything we can do. Please keep one another in our hearts and minds in the spirit of community and love. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation, followed by a moment of silence. Our meditation this morning was written by Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. Empty yourself of everything. Let the mind become still. The 10,000 things rise and fall while the self watches their return. They grow and flourish and then return to the source. Returning to the source is stillness, which is the way of nature. The way of nature is unchanging. Knowing constancy is insight. Not knowing constancy leads to disaster. Knowing constancy, the mind is open. With an open mind, you will be open-hearted. Being open-hearted, you will act royally. Being royal, you will attain the divine. Being divine, you will be at one with the Tao. Being at one with the Tao is eternal. And though the body dies, the Tao will never pass away. Let us take a moment of silence together. Amen and blessed be. Will the children and the bridgers come forward?
Actually, change of plans. Kiddos, wait, briefly, changing plans. I actually need you all to go back to your seats. Sorry. Well, because, yeah, just so that I can do this ceremony, please, thank you. So if you guys go back to your seats, I'll invite you back up in just 1 second. It's like, whoa. Because there needs to be a path for people to come, and if we're all right here, then we can't have a path, and we're fire hazards, it's bad. So I'm gonna start with the littles, and then I'm gonna do the big kids. How's that? I was like, pivot. But I do, who I need up front with me right now, I need Frankie Sanders and Aaron. I do need you two. I should have kept you here. And then is Piper Moss with us today? I don't see Piper, and I don't see Lula. Well, hello, my friends. So these are two of our friends who are, you know what, Aaron? This is not you. Sit right there for me, Aaron. My golly gee willikers. Harriet. I need Harriet. I'll get it right, I promise y'all. I need these two friends, and then I'm gonna get to Aaron. So these two friends are currently in our pre-K classroom, and they are going to bridge up to our lower elementary classroom next year because where are you guys going next year? Kindergarten. Very exciting. So come here, my friends. Here's one for Frankie. Frankie, what I need you to do, Frankie, if you want to go right over to this bridge, and then just So we're going to pass over the bridge, and then Miss Amethyst is going to give them a fabulous gift. So go on over. Yay! Okay, then you want to go here? So we are so excited to have our new friends join us in our lower elementary classroom next year because they're starting kindergarten. All right, friends, you can head back to your seats. Thank you. Now I need Aaron. Oh my goodness gracious. And then I need Eleanor. And I need Ellis. And I need Owen if he is here. I don't see Owen. Okay. Well, these friends, they are bridging up from the lower elementary class to the upper elementary class. Woo! So Miss Erin, Miss Ellis, and Miss Eleanor, if you would like to pass over the bridge, Amethyst has a gift for you. So they have a flashlight because they are the light that they're going to light the way. There you go. And then I think Ian, you might, oh wait, no, I need Ian and Sapphire to come forward. Now these are some of the bigger kids, and these bigger kids are going to bridge from the upper elementary classroom to the middle school youth group. Ian, Sapphire, if you would like to step over the bridge, Miss Amethyst will greet you on the other side with a fabulous gift. Come here. Come back up here. I'm not done with you yet. Oh wait, Ian, come here. So these friends were gifted a journal because their words matter. So you be sure to write all of your important thoughts down in these journals. But in exciting news, also, Sapphire is starting at Magic City Acceptance Academy next fall. And now I'm ready for Stella. But I also need parental units and siblings to come forward. You can all come up here. Correct? Okay. Come on up. You get to be on this side. Exactly. So I need all of you to come here, except for, I guess Flyby. No, you stay here. You're good. But I also need young adults. So any of our young adults that are present today, I need your assistance. So I see some of you. Yep, you come up here, Lisa. Artemis. Where am I? Oh, there's some more young adults. Come on, young adults. You guys are going to go over on this side with Reverend Julie. 18 to 40. We are very generous with our definition of young adult. I remember being defined as a young adult at 35, and I had 3 kids, and I said, no, I am not. All right, Reverend Julie, I'm going to let you take over this part.
This is what I have prepared. I just love to see how many young adults we have up here. You know, I often say that in minister circles, there is a lot of lament about where the young adults are in church. And I always get to say, sorry, I don't have that problem. You're amazing. I love you all. Okay, so if everyone in the congregation would join me in the litany in your order of service that's behind Stella's beautiful picture. Today, we honor the youth among us, you who are stepping away and toward. This is everybody. Today, you share in your journey and encourage your discovery. Today, we welcome your energy and offer you a safe place to grow. Today, we celebrate your hopes and dreams. Come live, breathe, thrive, and rejoice. Your time is now. Non-bridging youth. Today we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, for all you will be.
and again to hope and do and learn and be.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and explore with wonder. We will support and nurture you. You are the future.
Today you cross this bridge. Be patient and hopeful. We will support and nurture you. You are an inspiration.
Today I cross this bridge and join in fellowship. Let me grow, but don't let me go.
Together we share a special place. Together we learn. Together we love. Together we grow. So Stella, before you cross the bridge, would you like to tell everyone what you're doing next?
I'm going to Auburn and I'm going to be studying engineering.
We are so proud of you. It is time to cross the bridge. Young adults, welcome Stella.
So this rose that Stella has now is a special rose because during a child dedication, we give the child a rose that does not have a thorn on it. This rose, however, does have thorns. Yes. Very sharp and pointy thorns because now you are going out into the world and you're going to navigate those thorns with the support of your congregation. So, congratulations.
Before everybody sits down, can Mary, Elisa, and Michael come up here? We also have two other graduations. Would you like to tell the congregation what you are graduating from and what your next plans are?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mary Lisa. I'm graduating from UAB with a BS in biology, and I'm gonna cry.
It's okay, I'm ready. They can read it, yeah. Okay. Congratulations, Mary Lisa. We're so proud of you.
Good morning. My name is Michael Griggs. I got my Bachelor of Science in Supply Chain Management from the University of Arkansas. And in the fall, I'm going to be pursuing my Master's in Data Science and Analytics from Georgia Tech.
Congrats, Michael. For Mary, Elisa, and Michael, we are giving them one of our UU meditation manuals called Incantations for Rest. Thank you all. You may be seated.
And now, while everyone's getting seated, if you could sing us downstairs, we'll head outside for some community time.
It is a wonderful day to celebrate our graduates and Bridgers. We are so proud of you all. I want you to think about for a moment, when is the first time you heard Pachelbel's Canon in D? Ewen played it last week for us. It's a very familiar piece. Composed in 1680, the music collected dust for decades before French conductor Jean-François Pollard played the music on a recording in the 1960s. It would take 2 more decades for Canon in D to become one of the most popular songs found at weddings, due to its presence in the 1980s film Ordinary People. Music is part of what makes a powerful memory for us all. Like Canon in D, there are other popular songs that are frequently part of life transitions, such as Pomp and Circumstance by Edward Elgar and Here Comes the Bride by Felix Mendelssohn. What other songs come to mind for you about significant moments of your life? Perhaps it's your alma mater song, or the song that you danced to at your wedding, or a song that you played endlessly on a loop after a rough breakup. Music moves us in many ways, and music is frequently part of our life transitions. As I was preparing today's sermon, Stella, Mary Elisa, Michael, and so many other graduates in my life kept coming to mind. They are celebrating a great success and have immense hope on the next steps in their journey. Their lives are about to change, no longer beholden to the same calendar, more freedom and responsibility, individual reflection on how they want to carve up their waking hours a little bit differently. For some graduates, this means moving to a new area, like Stella's going to do, making new friends, and figuring out that the most difficult part of college is self-discipline, is it not? Those of you who have been there. For others, their journey is filled with travel, better work opportunities, or self-exploration. Graduations celebrate change. Because it apparently needs to be said, I just need to offer a disclaimer here. For graduates who identify as women, know that you have as many options as the male graduates. You are already fulfilled and whole. Marriage and children are options, even in the state of Alabama. Some people really are resistant to change, are they not? Humanity's relationship with change is a bit mercurial. We often celebrate the joyous, life-altering transitions like graduations, weddings, and childbirth, and honor the somber transition of death. And sometimes we celebrate other changes, such as moving to a new place, welcoming a new pet, or starting a new job. What we sometimes forget to acknowledge is how change is difficult and often involves an element of grief, letting go of the good with the bad. In reflecting on change, my sermon fairy inspired me to read the Tao Te Ching. Was that Eddie? I knew he'd be excited. No, it was Kylie. All right. The Tao Te Ching is Lao Tzu's Lessons for Life. And I also read parts of the I Ching, which in English translates to the Book of Changes, literally. The I Ching is an ancient Chinese divination text that has guided morality in Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. And I wondered how these texts might inspire these changes and our adaptation to them. The Tao is, which is not a god in Taoism, the Tao is that universal thing that connects us all and is a part of all living things. And the Tao is often described using water as a metaphor, as water is essential for life and another common element that connects us all. It is part of us and not part of us at the same time. So verse 8 in the Tao Te Ching reads this way. The highest good is like water. Water gives life to the 10,000 things and does not strive. It flows in places people reject, and so is like the Tao. In dwelling, be close to the land. In meditation, go deep into the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. In speech, be true. In ruling, be just. In business, be competent. In action, watch the timing. No fight, no blame. And that is from the translation by Jia Fufing, Jane English, and Toinette Lip, and is a beautiful illustrated version for anyone who wants to read the Tao Te Ching. Not that I'm advertising, I really like this copy. This text was written in approximately 400 BCE. We don't know exactly. We aren't even quite sure it's written by Lao Tzu, but that's who we give credit to. But in it contains so much wisdom for our future endeavors. Let's break it down together. It starts by saying the highest good is water. Water gives life to the 10,000 things and does not strive. So water gives life to everything is what we're reading here. It is the metaphor for this highest good, talking about the interconnectedness of life. Water does not strive to be anywhere elsewhere than it is at the moment, and thus is never disappointed. Water is present, and that is the lesson for us in that first part of being present where we are and recognizing how we are flowing through life. It goes on to say, it flows in places people reject, and so is like the Tao. Like water, we must flow in places people reject. We must fill the hole. We must throw the starfish back in the ocean. We must pick up trash. We must teach comprehensive sex education to the children. We need to spend time with those too easily forgotten, the homeless, the incarcerated, those struggling, those grieving. In dwelling, be close to the land. Wherever you live, spend time outside. Enjoy the air and the trees. In meditation, go deep in the heart. Note that he says heart, not head here. Note how our inward explorations should penetrate our feelings and our empathy for others. There's value in meditating for the head too, but here he's saying, be sure you meditate and go deep into your heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind, which is way more easy to do when you have had that heart-centered meditation. In speech, be true. Communicate truth, just like our fourth principle, that we as Unitarian Universalists pursue a responsible search for truth and meaning. In ruling, be just. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I don't rule anything. This does not apply to me. But I want you to think about what you do govern in your life. Whether you are umpiring an argument between your children or your siblings or your friends, anytime you are choosing a side on behalf of other people, let justice be your guide. In business, be competent. Be the best you can at what you do, whatever it is. In action, watch the timing. When we take action is just as important as how we take action. When matters. Be strategic in how you take action. And finally, no fight, no blame. If we resist the urge to start fights, no blame can be given. Most of these phrases continue to be relevant beyond the pages of time. We are like water. We can continually adjust our path to find the best way forward, whether we have a ceremony acknowledging our transition or not. One blogger wrote this on change and the I Ching. In the Western tradition, things endure because they are unchanging. In the Book of Changes, i.e. the I Ching, takes a different view. Things endure not because they do not change, but because they do change. They grow, they evolve, they respond, and in this way they continue. Is everybody with me? Things endure not because they do not change, but because they do change. The symbol of the eternal is not in the unchanging, but the cycle, which a process of constant movement and alteration governed by principles of order. In a cycle, every beginning results from a previous ending, and every end point is followed by a new beginning. I've talked with you before about the difference of thinking in time. When we think of time as linear, it's a lot different than thinking of it as a circle where things continue to repeat and happen. And that's what he's saying here. What endures are not the momentary manifestations of physical reality, but the basic principles that shape change and give it order and continuity. Analogous principles apply to the world of humanity. Change is inevitable. The secret to endurance is to make the changes in one's life intelligible through principles that endure. It is to learn to grow continuously with integrity. We often describe our Unitarian Universalist tradition as a living tradition. Like Taoism, we understand growth and evolution to be a normal aspect of life and continuity together. People come and go through our communities. Leadership changes. And as a non-creedal faith, we regularly evaluate the values that we write down and put out into the world and update them. Change in community is always particularly difficult, as everyone is traveling at a different speed of how they adapt to change. How monumental it feels when you are making a change that affects other people, especially within the context of a congregation. Many of you have been a part of these discussions, whether here or elsewhere, that get really tense sometimes, such as choosing a paint color for the walls, or changing committee leadership, or trying something new in the congregation. One of my favorite things about our congregations is that there is a general openness to change, more than I have found in other congregations. And although change is challenging, we have to accommodate competing needs, and figuring that out is always a challenge. A couple weeks ago, you may not have noticed, but we changed the order of service pretty intensely. Did anyone notice? A couple people, okay. And many of you probably have some feelings about it. Anyone have some feelings? Okay. We made these changes in an attempt to ensure that everyone heard the announcements and to give our children more time on the playground. They did not fight us for that. And to align our timing better with our friends in Tuscaloosa. And we'd love your thoughts on whether this is a better order or not. It is all an experiment, right? But on the international scale, our Unitarian Universalist tradition is going to vote in a month, in 30 days approximately, whether to replace the 7 principles in the denomination's bylaws with an updated list of values. In our tradition, the only way that our denomination or congregation speaks as a whole is by voting, because we're big fans of democracy. And so I'm so thankful that Kylie Kerr and Wanzetta Flowers and Helen Rivas will be Birmingham delegates for us, and Jim and Therese Colby in Tuscaloosa. And they are all going to vote on behalf of you about this thing. So Kylie, Wanzetta's out, but Kylie and Helen, can you stand up so people know where you are? Helen? Rise. Okay, everyone look at Kylie and Helen. Okay. They are going to vote on this on behalf of you. Now we have 2 more spots if anyone else is just loving to vote, especially on this. So let me know if that's the case. But you have in your inner insert, Patty, do you mind handing me mine? Pull out your inner insert that has a rainbow on it. It's not there. It's the... Thank you, Farrah. Saving the day. If you have a pen, get out your pen. And for those of you online, I'm going to be reading it aloud. But what you see in your inner insert is the proposed revisions to our 7 principles. For a couple of years, clergy and lay folks all over our country have been examining our values as Unitarian Universalists and gathering input and revising and repeating. And if you're new to this community, I hope you will just notice and see the hope and possibility of a faith tradition that believes in regular examination and evolution as part of being together. Thoughtful change in institutions is hard work, but it is essential to adapt to the changes required to include more people at the table. So I encourage you to follow along. If you have a pen, I want you to mark it up. I want you to circle what words stick out for you, okay? So, from the Article 2 Study Commission, proposed revisions to our principles. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant, congregation to congregation, and through our association, to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. Pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions. 4, transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. The next 3 sections, which I'm not going to read aloud, but I'm just going to summarize, but the section on inspiration speaks to our diverse sources of our values, beliefs, and ideas. The section on inclusion in blue speaks to the ways we can be more inclusive in our congregations, especially of folks with marginalized identities. And the portion on freedom of belief is a reminder that none of this, the entirety of this whole piece of paper, infringes on the role of your individual conscience within our congregations. You're not obliged to believe any of this. These statements only explain what we will aim to affirm and promote as a denomination and as a congregation. Some of you may be really excited about these revised, proposed revisions. Anyone excited about them? There's a lot of excitement, I'm glad. Others of you may feel strongly that the principles were just fine the way they were, and I feel you. Honestly, I'm still processing it as well. It's a huge change for all of us, and I appreciate that our sources are now more broad, our commitment to multiculturalism is stated overtly, and prioritizing our interconnectedness and pluralism is at the top. There may be parts of this that you would choose different wording, or perhaps you would want to edit it or revise it or whatever. But remember that this is not a creed, even if it passes. What you believe is still intrinsically you. My obligation as your minister is to teach you about these proposed changes, because I want you to be educated about what the changes are for when you talk to Kylie or Helen or Wanzetta and tell them about how you would like them to vote. And realize that their vote is their own, so they're going to have to, think about that, but please feel free to talk to them. The wisdom that each of you hold guides how you respond to this. I hope that you will sit with these words and determine your next steps, whether you would like to learn more, be a delegate with Kylie and Helen and Wanzetta, or just watch and see what happens. All of these are valid responses. Our meditation today spoke about the power of knowing constancy. And I wrestled with that for a long time about what that means. But how knowing what is constant brings insight and an open mind. What is it that is constant about your life? What is constant about Unitarian Universalism that speaks to you? What is constant about the congregation that you are a part of? Whether it's this congregation here in Birmingham, our congregation in Tuscaloosa, our congregation online. What is constant about that experience? Next week, we are going to revisit the 1970s and continue to explore those constant threads of what this congregation has meant through history. William Stafford describes constancy in this way. There's a thread that you follow. We talked about the thread with Stella and with Susan and Arthur and Ramona. It goes among the things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread, but it is hard for others to see the thread. While you hold the thread, you cannot get lost. You don't ever let go of that thread. In our ever-changing world, the earth continues to move, the water continues to flow, and we strive to make our communities stronger. Reflect on those constant threads that you cling to and those that bring you life. Consider those threads that are constant in our congregation. What makes our community unique? Weigh in to our delegates whether you think the proposed changes honor that thread for you. Cling to the thread. Our constancy brings strength to our soul and keeps our mind open for continuous evolution and change. May we be like the flowing water and the trees dancing in the wind. Amen.
Please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn, number 131, in your hardcover hymnal, number 131.
Please be seated for the announcements. After the service, we have several smaller opportunities for connection. Teens and their parents are invited in a conversation with Courtney about reimagining the youth group, and they'll be in the vocal room. Our meditation group has recently reformed, and it's in the children's choir room. Our Sunday forum meets in Covenant Commons. Our parents group meets downstairs in the middle classroom. Our seeker group meets today because they meet the first. Which one is this? Oh, I thought it was first and third. Okay. Okay, thank you. What about, okay, the Seekers Group. What about the Environmental Task Force? Are they meeting today? Because it's, okay, thank you. That's going to be in the library. Next week, and the Beacons, we're meeting in Julie's office. Okay. And next week, May 26th, we'll continue our yearly theme of celebrating the 70th anniversary of our church. And we're going to be celebrating the 1970s. So feel free to dress with the theme of the 70s. Can't wait. Well, no, I won't be here, but take pictures. May 23rd, it's a Thursday at 6 p.m., the Cups group is having the full moon espit. That's 6 p.m. But on Saturday, May 25th, they're having Yamaye. Am I saying that? Okay. That's at 7. I'm not going to try to say it again. Okay. And on June 2nd, we invite everyone to the Choir Sunday. And immediately following the service, we will have our annual congregation meeting. All members are encouraged to attend to vote. We'll be voting on the budget for the upcoming year, leadership, environmental justice, and each of the items will be available in an email for you to review. Throughout July, there's a lot of announcements today. Throughout July, Reverend Julie is out for vacation and study leave, and we're in need of speakers. So if you would like to share a message, Andy Duxbury, please contact Reverend Julie. The deadline for the mountain retreat is this Friday. So if you plan to attend, please ensure you've registered and paid. If you're planning your kids to attend, please register and pay. If they're attending the UUCB summer camp, and that is in July. I'm not sure the exact dates. It's in your insert. Please fill out the connection card, because check any interest you may have. The staff reads that every week on Monday. Okay, please rise and embody your spirit for extinguishing the chalice. Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm sorry to tag on to the end here. I thought that's what we were doing now. Pride is coming. I don't know if you realize that, but Pride is coming. And we participate in Pride every year. We have a float and we have booths at Pride Fest, which is an all-day long thing that happens this Saturday. We are working on the float. We are meeting to decide what we want to have at Pride Fest. We're doing that every Sunday between now and Pride, and all the rooms are taken, so I think we're going to be in here today after church. So if you want to, is there something in here?
Picket room. That's one right out here.
Julie? All right, picket room. Hooray!
Okay, now please rise and body your spirit for extinguishing the chalice. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you have made to yourself about who you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction. Until we are changed, transformed, and transformed together, becoming our better selves.